Why, hello everyone. So the reason for why not posting, is real simple. It's called laziness, and I was bored, and that's what I normally do whenever I get bored. I post one of these or I make one of these, and I'm bored now. So it's like 6 o'clock, so it's hella late, but might as well make a video. Who really cares, to be honest? So, this is a new AU. If you read the title, you wouldn't have known that if this is what if Deku trained, like way before he was given a quirk. Like once he was given a quirk, he started training. That's basically what this is. And I guess I could put. I don't know what the title is gonna be yet. I haven't decided it. I'm thinking maybe what if Deku was a quirkless badass? What if Deku trained? What if Deku stays quirkless? What if Deku tries? I don't know. But I have many on my mind. So, whatever one I end with, you just heard some of my drafts. So, I'm gonna start this off by saying, in this AU, I'm gonna give you a little bit of background. So, Izuku's father stays in this AU, except for he's a lot more strict, and they were going on rough times, and they kind of needed a hero to be their son. Um, so they decided to make a baby. And they got Deku. Now, obviously, they treated Deku like a perfect boy, spoiling him every chance that they got. And he just kind of thought this was what life was. Until he was quirkless. Then they got another baby. And this is when I'm going to start the actual AU. So, once they realized that he was quirkless, they tried again to have another baby. They got them. Now, unlike in the other one where it just threw out a person's name and just never brought her up again, this person is gonna be in the show. His name now is gonna be a girl, which I would have liked, but I'm not gonna make it a girl because I already made a girl version of a sibling. This person is gonna be called I haven't thought of a name yet. So, give me a second. Boom. Okay. Inoru. Inoru Midori. Now, he eventually gets a quirk. His quirk is called, his quirk is called, Fire Breath. And it's just his father's quirk, but it's a lot more powerful. Ka-chow. But Izuku, on the other hand, was immediately thrown into a survivalist campsite. And then, once that campsite was finished, and it took a while for it to finish, he was already like 7 when it finished. That's a good 3 years. And it was grueling. Like, they made everyone wake up at 3 a.m. every single day. They would fall asleep at 7. That means they got their 8 hours of sleep. Wait, no. They would all fall asleep at 8, and they would wake up at 3 a.m. And then they would go run into a forest, and then live in that forest until they had to go back to sleep. Actually, no, I'm good with that. They basically, live in a forest, and they have to make their own, like, house. Like, that's the goal. You have to make your own house. Um, and there's like a bunch of snakes in here, bears and stuff, and all you start off with is some shorts, just one pair of shorts, and that's it. That's what you have to go off of for like 3 weeks, and it's just very grueling and painful. There's bears and shit, and eventually Izuku makes his house. He finishes. It's a pretty dope house, by the way. He has his own pairs of clothing from bears and wolves and stuff. Um, he has his own wolf, like dog, as in like a dog, and like he lived in there for like, and then you have to live in that house for like 2 days, and then he left, and he kept the wolf, who he named very fittingly Wolf, cause what was he gonna call him? He tamed that wolf, by the way. Like, it's like his wolf. Like, it won't leave him ever. It protects him. He learns how to talk to him. That wolf is basically his best friend. Then once he went into there, he snuck Wolf into a boot camp. Into boot camp. And, once boot camp was over, he left that. Then he was put into another survival camp where basically you were put into a different forest that had a lot more creatures and stuff, and you just had to survive until they took you back. And he lived in that forest until his parents took him out, which was about when they needed him to go to UA. Now, he had already had professional. Oh, give me a second. Okay, cool. Until they took him out, they basically gave him a crash course in all of his, all the studies that he's gonna be learning, like math, reading, spelling, and such. And because he's been in that thing for so long, he quickly learned how to learn real quick. This is kind of ironic because you're quickly learning how to learn quick. And he absorbed that, like, that. I don't know where the mic is. And he was really good. He was, like, really, really good. And, his brother, who I forgot the name of already, I'm just gonna call him Midoriya. I'm just gonna call his brother Midoriya and Izuku. Okay? I hope this works. Because Izuku doesn't have a last name. He abandoned his last name. He only goes by Izuku now. If anyone ever calls him Midoriya, he doesn't respond. You have to call him Izuku for him to respond. He disowned his own family. And he would leave his family, but he's not gonna, because he can't. But once he can leave his family, he's gonna leave his family. So, that doesn't feel right, though. Okay, let me real quick and find his name, and I'm gonna, like, write it down somehow. Boom! Hi. So, I now have his name written down. So whenever I need it, you can just look at this paper. His name is Inoru. Well, you knew that, but I didn't, because I have a terrible memory. So, wait, I have to sneeze. Thank you, person. I wasn't saying thank you to anyone. So I forgot where I was doing before this. So Inoru has definitely gotten up the popularity area because he's younger than Izuku by 4 years. So technically he's still in elementary school. Oh no, he's just starting his first year of middle school. That doesn't feel right again. I want him to be a part of UA. So I'm just gonna say she had twins. Sure, twins. And Inoru got the good gene. And he's not Quirkless. Sure, twins. So then he can be in UA. And he's gotten up the popularity hierarchy. He's up there with Bakugo. I mean, Bakugo is lesser than him because he has such a powerful quirk. Or at least, Bakugo's quirk is more powerful than him. But he's much more good with words than Bakugo. Like, he's really good at manipulating people to get his way. It's also why he was spoiled like a rotten egg. Unlike Deku, well, after 4 years. Now, Inoru doesn't really remember Izuku because Izuku never really was at their house after he was 4. So he vaguely remembers his brother. He knows that he had a twin brother. He knows his name was Izuku. And that's the extent. And now Izuku and Wolf come back. And Inoru sees Izuku, who doesn't look like this. Okay, wait, maybe he looks like that, but imagine this cloak as being like a lion's mane. And those pants are just like, I mean, it's like lion's like skin. And his pants are just a tiger's. No, not a tiger's. A cheetah's. No, a black panther's. A panther's. Okay, panthers. A panther's skin as well. And then the bandages are just like jungle wood like thing. So he comes in looking like that. He doesn't have a bandage on himself. Uh but yeah. He does have that cut hair though, because what he does is he gets he like plucks his hair out. Like he like plucks it out. Not even. No, no. What he does is he gets like how would you cut your hair in that? I don't know. He cuts his hair somehow. Um and now he's there. Maybe I should get a better picture here. Give me a second. Hi, so this is Wolf and old Izuku. Now just imagine him in his shorts and in the middle of the woods. And boop, you got Izuku with Wolf. Oopsie. Google Assistant's being annoying. So, yeah. So, hope that's a good representation. Okay, wait, give me a second. You have no idea how long this took to just end up realizing that I had found the best one the first time. Besides, doesn't really matter. I already told you what to picture. God, I'm so dumb. Okay, so on my eyebrow. Don't question what I just said. Now he's going to UA. He walks in. Now he has different attire. Let's figure out what attire he would have. Yes, I am very much basic and just type badass Deku. Let's see. Okay, so hear me out. Okay, so imagine old Deku's hair from the last one, minus all the piercings, minus the nail polish, minus all the tattoos, and minus the black thing, minus the black gloves, weird neck arm, like the bracelet and the bandages that are black, and that's what he's wearing, like the clothes, and then add the clothes that he's wearing right here into the other one, and boom, that's what he's wearing. So just imagine, oh my god, I'm so annoying. So just imagine that as what he's wearing. There we go. Oopsie. Okay, so naturally, after years of being in the wild and boot camps and survivalist things, he obviously knows how to be like smart and think about his decisions. Think rationally, if you will. And so he immediately, when the thing goes down, wait, no, we have to do this introduction thing. So Ida is like, first of all, what about the fourth robot? And then he was like, and then President Mike was about to say something, and he was like, wait, no, before you continue, why is, well, random person, why are you dressed like that? That's not proper attire to be a hero. And then Izuku just looks up and is like, I barely even want to be a hero. Looks back down, and then looks back at President Mike, and then Ida's just like, okay, so why is that, sir? And then President Mike's like, oh, it's, you know, what he says, like, it's the zero pointer, you shouldn't go near that because it's useless. And Izuku just thought, well, if it doesn't have to be useless, I can still give myself a name for being able to defeat such a big thing, Quirkless. He thought that in his head, obviously. And once the thing goes off, he just instantly runs out, kicks one of the robots, and then like a metal shard comes out because he saw the weak point. Grabs the metal shard, stabs it in a part in its other weak point that could actually kill it, and then it falls to the floor. And then he breaks apart pieces and finds like a large enough shaped, almost sword shaped wiring thing, like metal piece. And then he just like grabs another piece and like hammers it, and then sharpens it, and then runs out with basically a katana in his hand, and just slices up all the robots that he sees, and they're all knocked to the ground. And then the zero pointer comes. He also helps people on his way. He mostly just helps people and breaks robots. Like, if he sees a person, he helps them. If he sees a person in bad things, he helps them without a second thought, even if he's like about to defeat another thing. And then he goes back to defeating the other robots, and then the zero pointer comes, and he's about to just, and then he just instantly realizes, this is my chance. Everyone's running away, but he's running forward. And what he does is he runs into the building that's closest to the zero pointer, climbs it up as fast as possible, and then jumps onto its arm, climbs up on the arm. Does it have an arm? I don't think it has an arm. Okay, climbs on its side, climbs up its side, gets onto its head after a while, and just stabs it, and then busts open the top, goes inside, wires it, and shuts it down. And then what he does is he thinks this is going to be his double chance, and he turns it back on, but he controls it now, and so he like defeats all other robots via the zero pointer. And then he just turns it off, walks out of the thing, and then climbs down it. And then he just sits down, and he's just done. He's done, and then he just walks away. I would think it would be funny if he just walks away. It's like still going on, like the whole thing is still going on. And he just walks away. He turns around, walks out, and then he just climbs the wall of the UA of like the thing, and then just walks out. And then he grabs his teacup and his like tea thing that he made. Um, yes, made. His parents did not buy him that. Um, and then he just calls for Wolf, who is now a big old adult. But the wolf that he met and trained lives for 175 years. So technically Izuku could never outlive him. And he was only a baby when he found him. And he trained him up. From when he was 4, he trained him up. And now the thing is like, it basically has the same exact human years thing. Like it has the same exact aging thing. Except for it continues aging after we're dead, after we die. Because its failing systems fail a lot slower than we do. Because the systems fail a lot slower than we do. So it ages rather similar, but like it grows up, but then it just stops after a while. And then it fails. And so he just chills out with Wolf, petting him and like messing around with him, while everyone else is like busting their buttocks, trying to find any more, because like they made another level. They like released the other another amount because Izuku killed all of the robots with all the remaining robots with the 0-pointer. And so Izuku's just drinking tea and petting Wolf when everyone else walks out and sees Izuku. And and then Bakugo comes up to him and is like, "Who do you think you are? You just defeated all the other people and then jumped the fence. You should be disqualified for leaving the grounds before the time was up." And then Izuku was just like, "Shut up! I legit did all of this quirkless. You think they're gonna let me slide out of their hands?" And then Bakugo's like, "I'll fucking kill you." And then Izuku's just like, "I dare you." And then he looks at Wolf, and then he looks back at Bakugo, and Bakugo like notices the fact that wolf is trained by Deku or Izuku, and he's like, "Who are you anyways?" And he's like, "I'm Izuku." And then Bakugo's like, "Who?" He's like, "I'm Izuku Midoriya. Now shut up and leave me alone." And then Bakugo's like, "Midoriya? I thought Inaru didn't have a brother." And then Izuku was like, "Inaru? What about him?" And then Bakugo was like, "You know him?" And he's like, "Yeah, he's my twin brother." And then Bakugo's like, "You look nothing like him." And then Izuku was just like, "Yeah, that's because he took after our father. I took after our mother." He was like, "Oh yeah, why are you twins then? I thought twins looked alike." And Izuku was like, "Yeah, that's just one type of twins. There's 2 types. I'm one of those." And Bakugo storms off, feeling like very, very angry. And a few people walk up to him and like there's like the same exact thing. Like maybe Monoma comes over and is like, "Oh, you're useless. Class 1B is better." I'm sorry. I just had to. Like Monoma comes over and just like, "What's your quirk?" And then Izuku's just like, "Huh, trick question." And Monoma's like, "What?" And Izuku's like, "I'm quirkless. Come at me." And Monoma's just like gets scared and then walks away. And Uraraka comes over and is like, "Thanks for saving me." And Izuku's like, "Oh, you're welcome?" And she was like, "Why'd you say it like that?" And he was like, "Oh, I didn't know you were there. I just wanted to defeat the 0-pointer." And Yurak was like, okay. And she was like, what's your quirk anyways? And he's like, oh, I'm quirkless. And then she's like, what? It's impossible, you just... And then Izuku was like, yeah, did you see me use a quirk? No. What's your quirk? She's like, oh, it's called zero gravity. Anything I touch can can have no gravity, but it does have some side effects. And Izuku's like, yeah, okay. I hope you make it into my class. And she's like, yeah, you too. And then she walks away. And oh yeah, I'm gonna add this. Okay, so although I love me a few ships, I'm gonna put one in here. So Denki Kaminari, yes, Denki Kaminari, um, was also put into the first survival camp, that Izuku went to as well, and was supposed to make a house and stuff. And they have one forest, and they're all put into a specific type of forest. But it just so happens that the forest is really, 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 really big. But where they placed Denki was a bit close. Well, he's kind of close to Izuku. And so eventually, Izuku was just hunting some deer with his spear. And he finds Denki Kaminari just drinking water from a lake and eating some really bad, poorly cooked thing with the same jeans on. He hasn't done any progress because he's scared. And Izuku, this has already been like a year into it, and Denki's just like, Denki has just like a water source, a food source, and that's it. Which was like Izuku's first objective, was to find vegetables and a water source, and he did that within a month. And Denki did it within a year. I'm not trying to be rude to Denki or Kaminari. I love him. He's the greatest Sparky boy ever. He is Pikachu, but I'm just saying. So Izuku brings him back to his area, and he's like, "Welcome to my palace." And it's like, it's only been a year into it, so it hasn't had a house. That's actually why he has a fully furnished house, and like, it's really, really good. It's like a perfect house because he has Denki to help him. And it also technically counts as Denki passing the thing. And so, because now he's started building with that house, so once he finishes the house, it technically counts as his house. And it's like, this house at this point, their house at that point, was just like, some wood, really bad, okay, put together, like, it's just like a few pieces of wood and made into like a really bad tent, and then leaves from trees, like leaf trees, like there's like long leaf trees being stacked onto that, and then some tree pieces wrapping it around so then it doesn't break. And that's where Izuku slept, with a deer hide on it, and some chicken feathers, not chicken feathers, some bird feathers put into a Black Panther wool, and then sewn together with what he normally sews with, which I'm not going to explain because who cares. And that's his pillow, and it's just like really good for one person, but they used it to make both of them sleep in it. Now, they didn't know boundaries, but eventually they grew feelings and they got together, and then Izuku kept Denki, like he took Denki to boot camp, but because Denki wasn't registered, everyone just thought that Denki went missing. And because he wasn't registered in boot camp, he just hid in the outlines with Wolf, which was his pet as well. He obeyed both Izuku and Denki, who now only goes by Denki, by the way. By the way, if that's not how you say it, I am terribly sorry, but I'm pretty sure it's Denki. So, Denki, and then Izuku took Denki to the survivalist camp as well, and they just went back to work building another house, which was a lot easier the second time. And then they just lived there. They had made clothes, they had made shoes, they had made bandages, they had made basic medicines, they had made food, like different type of foods. They made practically an oven, which was just like a campfire encased in clay, like a pizza oven almost. A pizza oven. They made a pizza oven, and they used that to make everything, not just pizza. They didn't have a refrigerator, obviously. They had beds, which they have already mastered, like, year one into their lives. This was all made out of, like, clay, by the way. The whole thing was made out of really hard clay. And it had 2 floors. The second floor just had a bedroom. They also had a bathroom that, like, was a few blocks away. There was just a big hole. Like a really, 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 really big hole. Like they spent like a month digging. And then it was just like a small hole at the top as just like an area, and then they would poop and pee into that, and then they would close it off with like a tree thing that they made out of their normal rope, and then some trees, and then they would just like stuff it into the hole. And that worked perfectly fine. It never got full because they spent a month digging down, and then 3 months digging out. So it was really, really big and really, really wide and tall and stuff. And I don't know why I went so deep into the bathroom, but just in case anyone was wondering. They made a door out of just some wood and stuff. They made windows by just leaving it open. Just like, they didn't make like glass or anything. They had Wolf his own like area, and that's it. That's all they could make. And they also made like cards. So like play cards. It's pretty simple. Yeah. So also Izuku knew what marriage was. So they got quote unquote married because Izuku didn't know the fact that you had to be old a certain age to get married. But they got married, which basically meant that they got clay, and they got clay, broke it down to a very, very thin thing, and made it into a ring. And then they put that around their ring fingers. And those were their rings. And then they like had like a ceremony and stuff. And yeah, they didn't have like a tux or anything. They just put on rings and said that they're married, and now they're married. So it's not legally or anything, but they're married. So Denki comes out and just like, how'd you do? So Denki comes out as well because he's also took the UA entrance exam. Izuku gave him one of the 3 pairs that his parents gave him to wear stuff. and that's what he wore to the entrance exam. Like one of the 3 exercise things that they gave him. He gave to Denki, and Denki used that. So she was like, "How'd you do?" And Denki was like, "I did pretty well. You know, you're pretty crazy." And he was like, "Oh, thanks." And then they walk off with Wolf, and then they just not right off. Then they walk off to, I'm presuming, go to Ingo's house or Izuku's house. Or maybe they made their own house. Because apparently they're really good at doing that. I mean, they made 2 houses, so. The first one wasn't as good as the second one, though. The first one was just like, I don't know. You'd walk in, it'd be a bed, and just a single bed, and it'd be made out of clay. It'd be like a big single bed, and then it would have a desk where you'd put all your stuff, and a bucket, and then you'd walk outside. A bucket, and then a stove. And then for the toilet, they would just, I don't know, poop and piss in the river. Because why not? By the way, they would use, they would smooth out tree things, and they would use that as, like, toilet paper. If you're wondering. And before they figured that out, they used tree leaves. And then every now and again, they would wash themselves in the river by taking water with the bucket that they also used to pick up drinking water, and because they knew what a shower was, like they knew what a shower was, they put like, they made like a top, and then they put holes in it, and then like 3 holes in it, and then they would just like tilt it slightly, and then you would use that as your quick shower. They would have to take real quick showers. And for soap, they would just, I don't know. They would get, like, coconut water and, like, natural shit. And they would, like, mix it together, and then they would just use that. It wasn't, like, a bar of soap. It was just, like, soap. And then they would just dry themselves, like, wash themselves real quickly. Then they got out of the thing, and they dry themselves with whatever they could find. And then that would be the shower. And it would normally take them a month to make soap. So, not very good. It would be like a large amount of soap, but it would still be a long time to make that. So yeah. They're really good at survival stuff. They know just about every medicine, like, they know how to make hydrogen peroxide in its basic levels. They know how to make soap on its basic levels. They know how to make a house basically perfectly. And they also know how to make clothes. And they know how to tame animals. And they know all that stuff. So they go to UA for the first day, because obviously they got in. Izuku with her big score. They just counted how many the other people broke before they put in the second wave, and then they counted Izuku's thing that he broke, and then they just added that. They took the Izuku thing away, they minused it from their total amount of wave 1, and then they added Izuku's old amount, and then that was his score. And then his hero's points were like, I don't know, 56. And then Denki just had like a really good one. It was just like 48 for hero score, and then like 72 for um like broken things. Oh, by the way, Denki trained his quirk really, really well, and they used it like a lot. Because if you have a quirk, you're gonna use the quirk. They would normally use it to like they would normally use it to just like kill prey, or even to give themselves light. How they would do that is Denki would get a big shock ready and then put it on their shard of metal, and then it would brightly light up for like 20 minutes. I don't know how long. For like 50 minutes. No, like 4 hours. That's not true, by the way. That's completely not true at all. You can't just give a big shock of electricity to metal and let it light for 24 hours. But I'm just trying to make them invent the light bulb. So yeah, a lot of quirking using. So Denki definitely knew how to use his quirk. So yeah. They go back to a house. They sleep there, and they get ready. They get into the UA uniforms, and they go to UA for the first time. They walk in, and they have never really seen such a big thing in their life. Like, they haven't been in such a big thing. And so they walk, and then they walk, and then they know the fact that they're supposed to look for 1A. And Izuku basically did a crash course for Denki, who is a lot smarter in this UA, in this AU, UA, as well. So Denki is not as smart as Izuku is, but he's pretty smart. I mean, like, he knows how to read. He knows how to do multiplication, addition, subtraction, division, variables, algebra. Like, he doesn't know how to go, like, really far up. Like, he's not gonna get well. But he'll learn. He knows how to do essays, all that shabong. I don't know what people learn in high school. All I know is what I learned when my grade is, so. And all my previous grades, obviously. Knowledge. So my brain is really good right now. My brain don't work. Like, seriously, it doesn't work. Okay, so they find 1A, they walk in, and then Izuku just sits in a chair, and completely ignoring Bakugo, who's screaming at Ida to shut up, and Ida telling Bakugo to put his feet down and stuff. And then Kaminari, Denki, and Izuku sit together, and then they just stand, and then just sit there, and they don't move really, and they don't really talk to anyone but themselves. Like, they talk to each other. They're talking, and then Aizawa like flops in, and everyone else is confused and stuff. But Izuku and Denki just take a quick glance and then continue talking about, I don't know, what they're gonna do after this. Um, and how fun it is to finally not have to build a house. Um, and just how shitty their parents were, etc., etc., etc. Um, and so Aizawa unzips his thing. Everyone's like, "Is that a caterpillar?" Blah 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 blah. And then Aizawa just flips up and just like opens up the bag and then drinks whatever the frick he drank, and then unzips and he's like, "Hi everyone, my name's Shota Aizawa. I will be your teacher for today." And everyone's like, "A teacher?" But Izuku and Denki just don't even care. They just take a quick glance and continue talking. And then, Izawa's just like, and then Izuku and Denki don't know what that means. And then Aizawa's just like, "Can you all stop talking?" And then Izuku and Denki just flip and then watch them. Almost like robots. Look at Aizawa. Not watch them. um, and then Aizawa's like, "Thank you." Anyways, everyone suit up in these and go outside. And then Uraka's like, "But what about orientation?" Aizawa's like, "It doesn't, orientation doesn't matter." And as Izuku and Denki are already up and walking as he's talking about, "Oh, I can do whatever I want, I'm your teacher," Izuku and Denki just grab the PE uniforms and walk out. And then Todoroki leaves behind them. And then Aizawa just like, "You should be like more like those three people. They actually left when I told them to." And then everyone's like, "Oh no," and then they get up and they go. Um, and so they're all outside, and then Izuku before asked for support things, like he asked for basically any single weapon that they can give him, he would take. Any and every single weapon that they can give him, he would take and just put it into like um on a utility belt. And then what he did is once he got that, he like broke it all apart, noticed what the pieces were, and then made it all into one single build. And it was just like a multi-tool. It looks like just like I don't know what it can look like. Just use your imagination. And I guess it could be like a glove. It's a glove. Um, and some glasses. A single glove and glasses. Um, which he actually needs, by the way. He got prescriptions once he came back. And then he modified his glasses and used the glove. Oh, what? So, sorry about that. I have a drink and some food. So, unlike before, I'm just gonna straight up eat it and talk to you all. So why not? So, you know. And then he just got the glove idea because he saw a glove one time and was like, "Yeah, that's pretty good." Also, it was the biggest thing that he can make. Without making it look too obvious. Just like a glove, more like a gauntlet, but you know. It is what it is. And so, oh yeah, okay. And so he has that, and then as I was just like, "Izuku Midoriya, because you had the best, because you had the best score, you throw the ball." And Izuku's like, "Okay." And you throw the ball first. And then Izuku's like, "Okay." He grabs the ball, and then he throws it with all of his might. All of his might. Pun intended. Is that a pun? I hope that's a pun. If it's not a pun, tell me, because I'm an idiot and I don't know what words mean. Um, so he throws it, which it doesn't go really far, but then he grabs the glove, and then he like switches with his glasses, but like, so you know how glasses actually attached to it? There's like a rod, and then it goes around the ear. Well, in the actual rod is like a control panel, and then in one of the glasses, in the two glasses has like words and stuff of like the different things that the glove can do, and by swiping that side, he can switch through things, and then by tapping the side, he can select which one he wants. So he swipes, clicks, and then he uses gravity, like a gravity gun, throws it back, and then yeets it as hard as he can with that. And then it flies up into the air. And everyone's like, whoa, what a crazy quirk. But Bakugo, Denki, and Uraraka all know that he doesn't have a quirk. Was it them? Yes, it was them who we talked to. Well, obviously Denki and Uraraka, but I'm pretty sure Bakugo was the other person. And so it flies up and it gets pretty far. Sorry, I'm dying over here. And so as I was like, good, and then he shows the whole class, and it's like 972 meters. And he's like, you should all try and beat this score. And everyone's like, what? And then a person raises their hand. I'm gonna say they're Kirishima. Oh. And he's like, and he's always like, yes. And then Kirishima's like, I have a question to whoever just threw the ball. And then Aizawa was like, Izuku Midoriya. He's like, yeah, Izuku Midoriya, what is your quirk? And then Izuku laughs as he walks away. And then Denki Kaminari. Why have I been calling him Denki Kaminari? Denki butts in and says, huh, yeah, that's the funny part. He's quirkless. And, wait. Everyone but Bakugo, Uraraka, and Denki, and Izuku, and Aizawa are shocked. And then, Ito just butts in and says, but he just used a quirk. It was that, like, gravitation thing. And then Izuku was just like, no, that was just some support heroes thing. And then Ito's like, what? There's no fair. How come you get such a powerful thing? And Izuku's like, so you wanted me to throw a ball quirkless? Thanks, I would have done so far. Also, I can beat every single one of you quirkless, so don't even try me. Including Aizawa. And then Aizawa was like, you want to test that theory? And she was like, come at me, I dare you. And then Jackie's like, wait guys, you really don't want to do this. And then Ito's like, why? Then Bakugo's like, why? Negi's like, he took down 3 bears in 2 minutes with one hand behind his back, and he didn't even try or move. And half of the class just stops and like stops trying to fight him and just back away. But then, I'm sorry. But then the people who are cocky and stuff, including Inoru, try to fight him. Um, huh. Yeah. Okay. So instead of Izuku living with his parents just gave him clothes and stuff, and then Izuku and Denki got jobs and now live in a pretty good apartment for for their for their income. Obviously, they don't have like a great apartment. It's just like a 1 bedroom. It's not amazing in any sense of the term. Or even good for that matter. Um, and that's where they live. So Inoru doesn't even know that's his brother. Um, and he never really noticed when Aizawa said Izuku Midoriya that it was his name. So he's just fighting him. Okay. I'm about to do something dumb as hell. Izuku stopped. Once he took the clothes from his parents, they recommended that he stay with them. That he stayed with them. Because now he was all strong and stuff. And he just said no. And he walked away with their clothes. And he said, oh, by the way, my name isn't Izuku Midori anymore. It's Izuku. And then he walks out. He says, it's Izuku Wolf. And walks out. Now Denki's name is Denki Wolf as well. So everyone just immediately notices once. Now they do all the tests and stuff. And then once the leaderboard comes up, everyone's like reading it, and then they noticed Denki Wolf and Izuku Wolf. First, second place. And then they're like, wait, what? And then they go up to um um to Denki and Izuku, and they're like, are you guys like brothers? And then Izuku just like spits out his teeth and is like, what? And then they're like, what's wrong? And they're like, and then it's like, oh, you're serious. Do we look like brothers? And they're like, no. They're like, and he's like, yeah, duh. They're like, then what are you then? How come you have the same exact names? And they're like, we're married, obviously. Oh god, now I need to change stuff because I didn't think about this before. Okay. Retconning my stuff because I barely even thought this through. Okay. So, Bakugo never said that he never knew the fact that Inoru had had a brother. 2, he was taught by his parents before he got the clothes. Boom. Okay, cool. Back to the story. And they're like, what, you're married? And then, Denki's just like, yep. And then, Bakugo's like, that's insane. You guys can't be married, you're too young. And Izuku's like, well, yeah, obviously we're not officially married, but we have wedding rings, We had a ceremony. So, we consider it legit. And then, um, Bakugo's like, where's your rings then? And then they both show their, like, clay rings. And then Bakugo's like, why are they made of clay? And they're like, well, we made them ourselves. We're not going to be able to find metals to make things. He was like, and Bakugo was like, what do you mean? Why don't you just buy metals to make your rings? And they're like, we couldn't buy metals in a forest. And they're like, and Bakugo, and then he's like, why were you guys in a forest? And Deku and Izuku saying simultaneously, parents. Wait. And so I go back inside, and I guess that's where I'm gonna leave off this video. If you liked it, I'm surprised. And I guess you can like it if you liked it. If you don't like it, either just don't do anything and just leave this video and don't try to come back, or don't leave any hate comments, or you can just dislike the video and then leave. Again, no, please don't put any hate comments. I just don't want to deal with that. If you want to say anything to me, just comment it, and I will actually respond because I have nothing better to do with my time. And yeah, bye. I guess I don't have an outro, like, thing to say or intro thing to say. So I guess bye.